Good evening, all you Minties, and welcome back to another episode of Reelz Talk with your host, the amazing Amanda, and my lovely co-host, the Uncanny Omar.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Yeah, it looks like we have quite a lively discussion already in the chat. So today we are going to be talking about kind of which one was better, comics versus movies, or in this case, TV show. And we're going to be looking at Jupiter's Legacy, which we had just reviewed the whole season last Wednesday. So since we kind of started this segment, we thought, wouldn't it be great to go ahead and actually look at the comic? Because I know, obviously, Omar, you've read the comic before.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but I've never read it before in my life. So I thought this would be a good time to actually, get a chance to watch something before I read the source material and see which one I liked more, which one I had issues with and stuff. So yeah, so basically what we're going to do is we'll kind of break down, what the comic book, we're only doing book 1. So that's, I think, issues 1 through 5. Is that correct, Omar?
Yeah, and honestly, if you've not read the comic book covers so much more. The TV show, the Netflix series only goes, I think it's like the first 2.5 maybe issues, because things take a drastic turn in issue 3. Yeah, 3 and 4 and 5. So
big drastic turn.
We might spoil something. We don't even know if the series has been picked up for a second season.
I think it has.
Oh, it has been picked up for a second season? Okay, well, don't, in case you don't want anything spoiled.
If they go that direction, because obviously they did depart from the comic, and we'll talk about that quite a bit. So we will a lot. So we will be looking at it. So comic book, Omar, do you want to talk about Jupiter's Legacy, which was published in 2013, and also another Mark Millar, which we just did Mark Millar last week with the Civil War. So wow, we're really all in on Mark Millar.
People don't think we're fans of Mark Millar, which lots of fans of that.
Yeah.
So this is a series that he co-created with Frank Quitely, and they did it for Image Comics. So it was a creator-owned series, and it was the setup of the comic book is pretty simple. You have these 6 characters that are going off to a mysterious island. Within the first 4 pages, you learn that this is a calling that they're having. This is all set in the late 20s, right after the big crash. Mm-hmm. So before the Great Depression, and it's all about how America needs help and how this is what's going to help them and make them into superheroes. Then you fast forward into 2013, I think is when the series took place, the modern time, and you meet some of these characters' kids, which is hence the name Jupiter's Legacy. And they all have superpowers, just like their fathers and mothers. And 2 of them in particular are the what is his name? It's a Salmon.
Sheldon and Grace's children.
Yeah.
Yes.
I cannot.
Brandon and Chloe.
Thank you. Okay, so those 2 in particular is who this focuses on. Chloe is addicted to things and makes a scene while she is being interviewed. Her brother Brandon doesn't really have a place in all of this. He's starting to question his father's beliefs and motives. This whole "with great power comes great responsibility" motto thing.
Mm-hmm.
So you can start to see that he's not really digging that idea.
Yeah, he's kind of a dick. Let's just.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you have an aged all the H heroes like Walter and his brother and Grace, all fighting Black Star, this villain. Just a quick fight where they all gang up on Black Star, defeat him, and immediately Walter, his own brother, starts questioning his methods and things like that. So there's almost like this immediate this not trust between both brothers. And then, you pretty much just have the character of Brandon trying to do good things. Him and his friends just having fun, like helping a ship. and then the ship
Well, they're drunk, so they're drunk doing it. Let's put that in there. And so they try to do something good, like just take this ship over the water, like flying it, but then he tips it because he's drunk. So he was
yeah. And his dad comes to rescue him, and his dad's like, and he's like, "Oh, thank God you're here, Dad." And his dad embarrasses him in front of his friends, which leads his Uncle Walt to be like, "Look, Brandon, your dad's a prick. You know what you got to do. You know, we got to do what's right for this country. We get to decide what's right for this country." So this is where we go into some spoiler stuff that hasn't been done in the next season. So I just don't want to spoil it for anybody. But so if you don't care, stick around. If you've read it, stick around. Pretty much. All right, here we go. Brandon turns on his dad and ends up helping to kill his own father. And meanwhile, all the other superheroes that Walter has manipulated have turned on Grace and killed her, which was a pretty dark part of the story. Because she's fighting them off, but it turns out that it was just Walt inside of her head. Meanwhile, the superheroes are just like freaking destroying her body on the outside. Chloe gets away with Hutch, who's the son of one of the other superheroes from the past. And then we have a time passes.
Yeah, flash forward to 9 years later.
2022, right?
Yeah, so like next year.
Next year. So in 2022, it's Hutch and Chloe now living, I think, in Australia, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And they have a kid, and they've been in hiding. They don't want anybody to seek them out. And Brandon and his uncle are now in the White House, which is pretty interesting because that's how they kind of see themselves as helping America. There's a whole mob outside that are protesting, and his uncle kind of turns their mind. And Barnabas finds out that there's a kid with powers, so he goes after them. And Barnabas was a character that showed up in the TV show. I kind of dig that character, though. He went after Chloe and Hutch, and then they kind of come out of hiding. And really, that's where the series ends. The first one.
Yes,
Chloe
the first book.
And the child are no longer in hiding. Brandon finds out that his sister's still out there. Yeah, that's it. That is the first 5 issues. There was a second series later on, and then Jupiter's Tears, which was Jupiter's Circle. I'm sorry, that was a 10-issue series, I think.
Yeah,
and he's coming back to do another one. But that's practically the story of Jupiter's Legacy Book 1. So it is twice the amount of things that have happened in the first season. So I don't know how 5 issues had more in it than 10 episodes. 10, right?
10 episodes, yeah.
10 episodes. And keep in mind, they're 52 minutes long, right?
Yeah.
30-minute long episodes.
They're super long episodes that are very hard to stay awake through sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the TV show is, they borrow aspects from this. But they showcase a lot more of the past, going back and forth between these time jumps. They keep going back and forth to present time, focusing less and less on the kids, focusing more on the original superheroes and what happened to them.
Yeah, and there's no aliens in the well, there are aliens in the TV show, but not the aliens we see in the comic, which are legit what you'd expect. The aliens that are the ones creating the clones in Star Wars. That's what they look like to me. But as far as the reason for that, when Mark Millar had talked in an interview about the creation of the TV show, and he said that Stephen Estonite, who is the showrunner for the TV show, had this idea, which Mark Millar called brilliant, to expand the storyline of their time on finding the island into like some type of homage to like Close Encounters of the Third Kind or 2001: Space Odyssey. And
I can see Close Encounters because of the time thing. Okay.
Yeah. So that's where all those elements were, and that's why we see Mark Millar wanted him to focus on the adventure in the island And then I guess maybe hoping that season 2 was going to focus more on, I guess, the present, which I would hope it would. So that was the initial intention, is why there's such a big difference between the comic and the movie, or the TV show. I keep calling movie. TV show, as far as what the reasoning behind why they're focusing so much on the island. So yeah, so the TV show itself, for those of you who didn't have a chance to, watch our review or watch the TV show, it follows along the same premise, except it takes a lot longer to get there. So in this one, Brandon isn't really he's a sulky young man, but he's not necessarily going out and getting drunk and kind of doing that stuff. He's trying to truly live up to his father's reputation and his father's approval, and still not really getting it. His uncle Walter is still a mentor to him in a way, still someone who's talking him through all this stuff. But Brandon never, at least to the end of the season, never gets to the point where this Brandon does in the comics by issue 3 of killing his father. He ends up actually agreeing with his father about this code. And it's also a little bit interesting because obviously the code in the TV show, we know, is all largely centered around killing, right? Because he killed Black Star, Brandon did, to save his father. And because supervillains are getting more brutal, the question is, well, why don't we also match their force, right? In the comic books, Walter is more concerned not about the killing aspect, though it's brought up because they do have this huge moral code they must follow that Sheldon and all of them have created, but even Walter is now against it. But also his is more focused on the political aspect. And the comic is very grounded in our real times because Obama is the president. He talks about Obama, and yes, Obama was president in 2013. So it is very grounded in our real times. And he believes they can fix all these problems that our government isn't fixing, because it all comes back to America is the greatest country on earth. And that's what the aliens were trying to do for us, was give us these powers to they see that America is in trouble. And so that's what we assume, is they want us to fix America. But Sheldon, you're not letting us fix America because you're hindering us. You don't want us to get involved in the politics and let you have this blind faith in these politicians, which is mentioned very briefly in the TV show, especially towards the end. George Skyfox mentions it, but it's Walter. This is what hammers home. That's why Brandon is in the White House with Walter, and still they're in the White House for 9 years, and there's still food lines, there's still issues. But I think Walter just wanted power because he seems okay with that. Not everything is perfect, even though that's what he argued with Sheldon about 9 years earlier before before Brandon killed him. So there's like a big disparity there between what the focus of the code is. So to me, it's just, which one was more interesting, I guess, when you think about it. Like the TV show spent 10 episodes about, is killing right or wrong? Whereas this one spent like less than 3 issues to kind of display, should superheroes have, should they be in charge of how our world runs because they can do it better, right? So that's really interesting to see the difference, why they chose to go maybe that route in the TV show, focusing on, brutality, particularly when we have so many other superhero TV shows and movies out that even our mainstream superheroes in the DC and Marvel are a little bit more brutal than, they used to be back in the day, right? There's a lot more killing in our current comic book movies and TV shows. So it's interesting that they would choose that for the TV show vantage instead of talking about the politics aspect. So that's very interesting to me, that's a different direction that the TV show chose. Another big difference is Chloe. So in the comics, while she does use her ability, like her parentage and everything like that to get, sponsorships and all these things of that nature, she also does do drugs, but she isn't necessarily she doesn't F you to her parents. She doesn't have that same, like, all balls to wall rebel. Like her and Brandon share, like Brandon has seems to be more rebellious. So he's the one that ends up killing his father. But in the TV show, Brandon is by no means at all. And so it's interesting to see, it's easier to see this Chloe that, you know, she loves her mother. Like she, even when she goes back after she's in the hospital because she overdosed and she finds out that she's pregnant, and we find out it's Hutch's baby, and Hutch still has his teleportation rod. So that's good. Hey, honey. Oh, you are that? Thank you, baby. So it's, you know, but this one, Hutch is also not necessarily a bad guy either. He's kind of lukewarm as well. He's not really, you know, has this whole team of supervillains or, you know, thieves and stuff behind him. It's kind of him. He loves Chloe. Chloe loves him. Whereas in the TV show, this relationship is just established like about.
It's just sex.
It's just sex, and it's just established by episode 5, and we don't really know where it goes by the end of the season. I guess they really like each other. There's that. So, but in this one, they love each other, and they're going to have this baby. And Chloe ends up being like, when they do the flash forward after her parents are killed and she and Hutch go into hiding, she ends up being a pretty decent mom to her son, who is clearly, you know, has super intelligence, super speed, all the stuff that he could possibly have. So that's a big difference as far as like Chloe's storyline and Chloe's arc as a person. So that was a big difference that I immediately spotted when I read this. Between that and her and Brandon, big differences, 100%. Walter, not so much.
And it's weird because in the comic book, which is only, again, 5 issues, you seem to have these immediate, like, these characters are more relatable than, because Brandon in the first episode of the Netflix show made a mistake of killing Black Star.
Yes.
Which kind of led him down the path of questioning the code and his father's trust issues. But he kind of steps out of the spotlight. You never come back to that until much later, because they're focusing on. God, I can't even remember because it was so boring. So I like how fast this was. I like how fast the comic book was compared to the Netflix show. And I remember making that. I remember saying that when we were doing the overview. I was like, I don't remember the island. I think in the island it was only just a few pages, and they were like, oh, here we are.
Literally was, they had I think 2 pages in the beginning where they met with the captain, and then maybe another 2 pages somewhere in the middle issues where they got to the island, and then 2 more pages where they actually met the aliens and got their powers. That's it. That's all we saw in the comics as far as the island. And I guess Mark Millar really loves Stephen DeKnight's, you know, Close Encounters of the Third Kind homage, and really wanted to play that up for this season, because that's what we got. And we got crazy Sheldon, which in the comics, they don't make any allusions to Sheldon going crazy. There's no like seeing the old man and everything like that. It's just, they're like, you know, he talks about having a vision, you know, after the crash. It has nothing to do with his father either, right? In the comic, doesn't mention the death of his father or their steel company. It's all about the crash of 29, which obviously that would have been a big deal. I think they could have stuck with that same storyline instead of the steel company, you know, stealing money because of the dad's bad debt and gambling. Isn't that what the issue was in the TV show?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, you know, the crash of 29 makes a heck of a lot more sense to me to focus on as a reason that, you know, Samson or Sheldon would have these visions, and all of a sudden, and then people would be likely to follow him. And then also, Grace isn't a reporter. Grace is a friend of theirs from college. I think George was too. So that was a little bit different, because she even talks about being on a ladies wrestling team when they were in college together. So that's a big difference, which I didn't know if they had wrestling teams back in the 20s for women, but I guess.
Maybe underground.
Maybe underground wrestling.
Maybe underground.
Yes.
Okay. So let's break it down, the things we liked about it, and then about each whatever, and then bring it back to what we ended up enjoying more. Whether we liked the book or the TV show, that's not the point of this. Is which one was better? Was the comic better, or was the TV show in this instance better? So the things I liked about the, Frank quietly grew on me after a while. I wasn't the biggest fan of him during his New X-Men phase. I think it was All-Star Superman that I thought, man, okay, this is really cool. I kind of dig his art now. It's unique. And then he drew We 3, Flex Mentallo. I don't know what it was about this particular series, but I wasn't really feeling his art in this.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm not the biggest Mark Millar fan, but this is probably one of the less edgiest things that he has written. And there's a lot less tropes in here than I'm used to in all his comics. So I think for the first time liked the writing more than I did the art, which is weird. And this is the same team that took over the Authority too after Warren Ellis and Brian Hitch left. So they have worked together in the past. And so the writing was faster. It was fast paced, but James made a really good point. James said one of the problems with the comics was it took too long to finish the series. The first issue came out in April 2013. The series didn't end until January 2015. That's insane. We're talking about 2 years for 5 issues.
How could anyone want to stick with it? I'm surprised. Like, honestly, I'm surprised there are fans, because how could you stick with something like that? That's worse than George R. R. Martin's Winds of Winter never coming out.
Okay, I'm staying out of that debate, Frazier, but you're not wrong. That's all I'm going to say. What the TV show did better than the comic, and I think for this was I hated the whole going back and forth. They should have stuck to one thing, but I did appreciate the style that they used for the 20s, 1929. In the comic, it really didn't feel like it. It just felt like Frank quietly drawing a bunch of people with less backgrounds.
Yeah, but I mean, I wasn't a big fan of Grace's wig, but okay. I thought she looked better as an old Grace than she did with this weird bob that she had going on.
In the comic or in the...
No, I was talking about in the TV show. I thought you were trying to find something good with the TV show.
Yeah, think of something. I was thinking, and I forgot. I really did enjoy the way that the 1920s were shot in the TV show. I thought they were great. But I can't think of much more of anything that I enjoyed from that show. What about you? What did you like from the comic, and what did you like from the TV show? Yeah,
so the comic was really interesting for me because it was a lot more fast-paced than the TV show. And at first, I was thinking to myself, could have used a few more issues of build-up from when Walt decides to turn on Sheldon and to get Brandon to turn on Sheldon, because it just seems so Brandon clearly has daddy issues, but man, to go from one extreme to to just being angry with your father to killing him, but I keep in mind that I keep forgetting Walter also has mind manipulation. So does that play a part in it? And I don't really know, but then I realized I don't think the comic was really supposed to be about the major conflict between Sheldon and Grace and the new folks. But I think it really was supposed to, I'd assume, what happens when the superheroes do get to run the world? What does that look like? Yeah. And then we start, I think that was the main story. And honestly, I think I would have rather had seen that in the TV show than what we had gotten, because while the TV show tried, I thought was going to really weigh out the pros and cons of this code, but it did it in such a haphazardly way, because it kept, and even in my review, I talked about how the way they split between the past and the present made no sense. Like why they would choose to focus on the past in during certain episodes versus the present, and how they were, how they would go together, like what scenes and stuff or what themes would be playing in that episode made no sense to me. And so it just took me out of the whole code issue. And so even by the end of it, I always had a feeling that Walter may not have been as best the guy that we thought he was, but it's still didn't shock me and wasn't shock and awe when we found out at the end of the season that, oh, Walter was behind everything, not George. Sky Fox had nothing to do with this. He's still MIA. We have no idea where he is. And so, I mean, at first I was like, well, at least they tried to do the buildup in the TV show and give us a little bit more, but they didn't. Brandon is no better off in the TV show than he was in the comic. And then in the comic, I liked Chloe's characterization way more than a TV show. I thought the TV show was just
she's very likable in the comic. Well,
yes. Well, to a point, yeah, she is. She grew on me, especially once,
she had a kid.
Yeah, once she had a kid. It's not because I'm also a mom. It's just because
I'm not a mom and she grew on me.
But this Chloe in the TV show is just gratuitous. Like, it was just gratuitous. Like, how much sex, drugs, and rock and roll can we throw at you guys to show that she's this, like, she wants to go against the grain. Meanwhile, Brandon was boring AF, And
then he was gone for like 70% of the show.
Clearly, and he's the main. The crazy thing is the main focus of the comic.
Yeah, I think okay. If this is why I didn't want to say anything when we were reviewing the book, but if they're gonna do this payoff of, oh my God, Brandon's gonna kill Josh Duhamel.
Yeah. Which would
honestly, they should have done it in this season. They could have done a Game of Thrones kind of thing.
Yes.
Because then people would have been okay with the boring ass plot. They would have been like, oh, stick with it, man.
This is it.
Watch it until the last episode. Believe me, you're gonna thank me.
Yes.
Where the son kills the father and then maybe reveal. But no, the stupid reveal at the end was, I'm the bad guy. Now they're prolonging it for another season, and I'm sure that ended. And then, of course, TV's a little bit different, right? It could be because Josh Duhamel was like, I'll only do a show if I don't even know if that's how you say that dude's name. If I have 2 seasons, because I'm a movie.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Like, did he have a say? I mean, why can't he be like Sean Bean and be like, okay, I'll do it for 1 season. That's fine. Like, that says something.
But can you imagine how our review would have been different if that had happened?
Oh, yeah.
If Grace and God bless, what is his name?
Sheldon. I know Sheldon.
Yeah. Horrible name. Have been killed at the ending of season 1. Like, you would have seen it coming. And I honestly forgot about it because I hadn't read this since it came out.
Yes.
So,
I was really disappointed that they ended up letting Brandon, like, I guess it was Flair's daughter, repeat the code back to her when she was thinking about quitting and realizing that he's more like his father and he wants to live by his father's code. I was so disappointed in that because I was hoping, like, not that Chloe's clearly in rebellion, but I would have been nice to see Brandon push himself a little bit further down the path of, I'm not going to go along with your stuff, Dad, like in the comic. So in the comic, he does that. And, while he's kind of sleazy, I mean, he's kind of sleazy, but at least it was consistent and he at least his character went through something. Whereas this Brandon, I felt like just went from square one to square one. He didn't go anywhere in the TV show. So that was, an issue.
Yeah. Maybe they're playing the long game. Now, did you tell me, and I'm sorry, I can't remember, was the same showrunner that did Smallville?
I think
was that something else that we reviewed recently?
Stephen DeKnight. Oh no! What did I put on my notes? What did he do before? He has been a producer for Pacific Rim and Spartacus.
Okay, I thought it was somebody else that did the Smallville. So yeah, I like the pace of the comic book better. I think it would have been, they should have just done that as season 1 because you still end with a cool cliffhanger. And honestly, they could have ended it with the cliffhanger of Brandon killing his father and Grace getting killed, leaving what's her name, Chloe out there out on the run. So for me, in this case, I believe that the comic book was better.
Yeah.
How about you?
I would have to agree because, just like you said, based on pacing, but not only that, based on characterization of the children and the whole premise for the show itself or the comic itself, it's about the legacy. But I felt like in the TV show, They didn't focus on the legacy. They
No,
focused
it
on
was
the
no
past.
legacy. It was the
They
past.
wanted to focus on the past and barely focus on the legacy. So, you know, every time you think there was going to be conflict, like with him and Grace or him and like, there wasn't conflict in the present day. It didn't exist. Every time, like when I thought Grace would finally like stand up, like he should really stand up to Sheldon. Like I wanted someone to actually stand up to him, and no one ever did that. Walter did it, but not really, because no one still knows that he's the bad guy by the end of the season. So yeah, for me, the comic book, it at least when I finished that fifth issue, I wanted to see what was going to happen to Hutch and Chloe and their son, whose name I cannot remember, next, because I wanted to see if Barnabas was going to find them again. Now that Brandon knows that they're alive, what is he going to do? And I was interested. I'm not at all interested in what happens in season 2.
Yeah, I had no idea I got renewed. I'm kind of shocked it got renewed because I've not heard anyone talk about this. And the reviews that I've seen that you shared with us last week were pretty bad. But that was the critics' review. You said the audience
75, like it was a 7 something, but that was like gosh, a week ago. And I'd be interested.
Good, though.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see, like, if I went to Rotten Tomatoes now and put it in there, which I'm going to do because I'm curious. After more people have watched it, if the rating for viewers has gone down. 73%. So it's gone down a little bit. So it was at like a 75. So it has gone down a little bit as far as the audience score.
Tom Walling, interesting choice.
Yeah.
So yeah, we wrapped up early today. What did everybody else think? If you've seen the show and you've read the comic, let us know. And if you're watching this later, let us know in the comments down below.
Yes.
It feels, to me at least in this one, that the comic book was more enjoyable than the TV show.
Yes, and I think we had some people who definitely agree with us.
And I'll be honest, I mean, there's most of the time, I'm sure it's going to be, for me anyway, the comic book was better. Yeah. Yes, of course. Man, we really kicked it off with a rare one, with both you and I saying that the Captain America Civil War movie was better.
That's just a rare gem, though. So we have just a rare gem. When you have Chris Evans in it, what can you say? Low Heat says the comic was better than the day. Amanda agrees. Omar agrees. Done and dusted.
Thank you. Wait, I just came in. Can we do spoilers from the comic? We were talking about the book 1. We did spoilers for book 1.
Book 1, yeah.
That's what we reviewed. We think that's why I didn't think we could go into book 2. Attt also prefers the comic. Thanks, Attt.
Yep. Awesome.
The show puts PU in Jupiter. Boy, that's a stretch.
Oh wow, I love it.
Michael, that was a stretch.
Yeah. So Immortal Death God said he liked the acting by Josh Duhamel, who played Utopian.
Duhamel, that guy, yeah.
I called him Duhamel, but one of our members in our chat called me out the other day when I did just a news update about this. So I'm never gonna call him Duhamel again. I'm gonna call him Duhamel. He wasn't terrible, but that present day wig, man, that was really rough for me.
You know what? I'll take the wig. It's the Santa Claus beard that bothered me most of all. That beard, can they not have like bought a beard that was white already or some grayish? I
have seen some really wonderful aging up, and that just did not do it for me. And somehow with Leslie Bibb, her long gray hair made her look younger than her.
Yes, I thought so too. I thought it was a different chick.
Yeah, it was.
No, I was so confused.
Yes,
the guy who played Walter was great. I agree with that.
Yes,
and the guy that played
George.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, I liked him too.
He was great. Josh Duhamel.
Josh Duhamel
was pretty good in the TV show Las Vegas. Did they bring Vegas back? I didn't know they brought Vegas back. I used to watch that show when I was a kid. Hey, I just finished Jupiter Circle. Loved it. It gives you great backstories for these characters. I wonder if COVID affected the show at all.
I mean, they haven't mentioned it. Like when I was looking at some of the articles, just like talking to Mark Millar and talking to different people, because he was heavily involved in the adaptation. So I'm I'm surprised knowing that he's saying that he's heavily involved in it, that he would let that like just was like, okay, we can kind of deviate. And I get it, the understanding of it's, you know, and sorry, it's 8 episodes, not 10. We got that wrong. But the fact that you had 8.
Oh, it's only 8 episodes, but it
Yeah.
felt like Christ, like 10 of them. Okay.
Yeah, but it just, you know, I get it that it's 8 hours that you have to fill in a 5-issue comic. I mean, I read that in 2 hours. So I get we have to stretch out stories, but I honestly think they did the best job of stretching out the stories. So
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Past George was my favorite part of the show. I agree.
Yeah.
I liked Past George. I liked him married to Fergie. That's right.
Oh, that was
still married to her?
No, they got a divorce. I thought he had some issues.
Yeah, dude, does anybody take marriage seriously in Hollywood? Like, you know, why can't we get like somebody like
Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson? Tom Hanks.
J-Lo. I think of J-Lo as like somebody that takes marriage seriously.
Well, yeah.
No. Are you doing okay? You seem very tired. I am super tired. I stayed up way too late last night, and I did a 2.5-hour show today. And then I was made to read Jupiter's Legacy.
It was 5 issues. He acts like that's the longest thing he's ever read in his life, with the man with the omnibus sitting behind him.
You call it omniboobs?
Omnibus.
That's right.
I'm so tired.
Yeah, I'm okay. And after this, I have to film my X-Men reading order part 5.
God.
So, yeah, it's okay. Sleep's overrated. I'll get it sometime. The answer is no, Omar. Nobody. Amanda said Rita Wilson and Tom Hanks.
Yeah, they're still. Yeah, look at those two. They're gonna. Yeah, they'll live forever. And Goldie Hawn, and now they're not married.
Well, we know that's only because they probably sacrificed children or something. There's always something messed up with people.
No, that's all Tom Cruise. That's what he would do because he's crazy Scientologist.
Oh, you're gonna say Tom Cruise is crazy, but not Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks is a national treasure, just like Paul Rudd.
Oh my gosh. Quit putting people on a pedestal. Tom Cruise jumped on a plane, okay? And he rappelled off the side of that building.
Yes.
That guy's a national treasure.
There you go.
I get tired and pissed off just thinking.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta be honest with you. I've read now 2 Mark Millar things. He still would not be my go-to writer by any means. I'm not. I mean, Jupiter's Legacy was okay. It was definitely better than TV show, but by no means would I revisit more Mark Millar properties after this and Civil War. It's just not my style. I think he's just not going to be something for me. Give me super convoluted Hickman any day.
Did you read Red Sun with Maddie and I?
No, I did not.
Okay. So that's one that he wrote that a lot of people really love, and one that that's what we should do too. That's another Mark Millar. No, let's take a break from Mark Millar. Okay.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. Well, next week, guys, next Wednesday, we are doing The Losers. So I'm super excited about that. So next Wednesday, we're doing The Losers.
First 11 issues, right?
I think so. Yeah, first 12 is what they said was
first
adapted.
12 issues and the movie.
Yeah, I just want an excuse to watch.
Holy crap! I sold my copies.
Yes, and I asked Omar when I told Omar we were doing it, and he said he sold his copy. I said, "Is that going to be an indication of what you think of the comic?" And he said, "He's like really like, no comment."
Here's a good question.
Yes.
So, if we had to greenlight any Netflix series, comic to TV, mini or multi-season adaptation, what would you choose, and how would you go about it?
Wow.
I would not put the people in charge of Jupiter's Legacy to showrun my show, for one. What would I adapt?
Man, you know,
it's so hard because I love the medium of comics so much, and I always have this thing stuck in my head, like, it can only exist in this format until I see something like Sandman. I don't care how great Sandman TV or whatever radio program. Oh my God, I feel old. No, the Spotify thing, the audio thing. I don't care how great it is. Nothing will ever surpass Sandman in comic format because it deserves to be in that format and that format alone. I think the same thing of Watchmen. Even the HBO show Watchmen, while it was great, still the comic, it's its own thing. So this is hard for me to answer. Do you have an answer while I think? Or
yeah, so I was actually thinking of it, and I was, yes, that would be cool. A new word.
You go to hell, Sugar Man.
I was just like, obviously, there's tons of Marvel things. I think a Spider-Woman, but I don't remember the writer who did the one where she's pregnant, but I would love to see that. Huh?
Dennis Hopeless.
Yes, Dennis Hopeless. I like Hopeless.
You want a pregnant superhero?
Yeah, I want pregnant Jessica Drew. Yeah. But actually, I was looking at like some of my comics, and it'd be really cool. Maybe like as a mini movie, like a 4-part would be like Fade Out. Brubaker's Fade Out.
Oh yeah.
That would be cool because I really like noir, and obviously that definitely fits the bill. You could totally, because it is about cinema, so you could totally see it played out in cinema, like like a Black Dahlia feel and stuff like that. Yes, I just think we just need to give up on the Dark Phoenix getting adapted. No, yes, I just think you tried and it's not working. I just think.
First of all, we haven't tried. We have not tried. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Damn it, Amanda! You went the route I was gonna go. I was gonna go with Ed Brubaker. I was gonna say Velvet, just because I have such a huge crush on the main character.
Wouldn't be bad either. Those kind of TV shows would be great. With a female-led like killer like that would be awesome.
That's really would be amazing to do. Greenlit The Killer by Dark Horse, awesome underrated series. I mean, there's so many that have already been done. They've tried like Stumptown.
Yeah.
So man, one that I really want to see an adaptation, and I think you could only do it kind of in the way that some of the animation in the what is that? The Love and Robots.
Yes, which they have a new season out to just.
My buddy Mike and I started watching a bunch yesterday. Woo! There's some rough ones in there, but there's some really good ones, just like season 1. But anyway, Saga. I want a good adaptation of Saga with an anime feel, but some CG backgrounds, kind of like some of the things, like I said, in Love and Robots or whatever that series is called. Something like that. I would love to see Saga like that. It's a wonderful series.
Yes.
Of course, it could all go to crap in Game of Thrones season 6 style if when it comes back after hiatus. But
Harrowing 2.0 had said God Country, which I thought they were doing.
They were doing a movie because he wrote the script for the movie too. Now, sadly, when these
that was 2018. That last time the news about that was 2018 was going to be a feature film. So
when these things happen, all these announcements happen, it's hard for me to get excited because I always think of like the excitement of the 1990s James Cameron Spider-Man that I read about in Wizard magazine, and I was like, oh my god, it's coming, and it never came. So even as a kid,
Superman never happened.
Which Tim Burton's?
Yeah, that one never happened either. That was really cool to see, just to see that. Yeah,
I would have loved to see Nicolas Cage in that. What is it? Death and Return, I think is what I was going to do.
Yeah. Michael said Stumptown was not too bad. I just lost interest. The main character's too broken. I agree with you, Michael. Stumptown would have been a better, because I love all the actors: Michael Ealy, Colby Smulders, Jake Johnson, fantastic actors. But because it was on ABC, because it's on a network, there are certain things I think they couldn't do that the comics could do, and they had to, when you have to drag out these series, sometimes you get away from it, and you can do that to a character where you just can't seem to redeem them. And I think was its downfall, which is a shame because I thought Colby Smulders was doing a really great job, and so I enjoyed it a lot. But what can we do?
Ex Machina read like a great HBO show. BPRD, Kaptara. I Am Trouble, What Omar Is to Dark Feet. Dude, I hate Trouble. Like, that's one of the worst comic books I ever read. And what's Mark Millar? I'm going to take a break from Mark Millar now. Fade Out, Kill or Be Killed, Sleeper, Incognito, Pulp. Oh, yeah. Honestly, Brubaker writes for TV shows. I'd love to see an adaptation of something like Gotham Central. But no offense if you like the Gotham TV show, but that was not.
No.
It was wasn't for me. Usagi didn't have to do it with humans. You go to hell, Michael Emmett. What is wrong with you? Revival and Peter Panzerfaust. Oh, dude, the guy that created Peter Panzerfaust like breaks my heart because he starts off with these great ideas and he kind of just gives up. I really like that. It's like a Peter Pan in World War II and the Lost Boys. It's a good book. Lady Killer, but that's already getting a show. Yes, it is. And it's headlined by Blake Lively.
Yes, Lady Killer.
Black Magic by Greg Rucka.
Yep.
Yes, with Nicola Scott. Green Light, Black Sad, also coincidentally by Dark Horse, obviously will work best as animated. Yeah, absolutely. Animated like not really Beastars. I'm trying to think. There's specific, like maybe something dark like the Spawn HBO animated series.
Yeah.
Middle West. I cannot wait for that hardcover. When I interviewed Scotty Young, I told him how much I love that story. Wasn't expected to be blown away.
Yeah.
Other way around, Immortal. East and West.
East of West. Yes, I could see that. Michael also said Lazarus. Yeah. Weren't they also going to be making am I also delusional?
You are delusional because
they're going to make a Lazarus adaptation. I keep looking it up because I'm like, I really think they're going to make a Lazarus film adaptation.
Bendis Scarlet would make a great series. I need to pick up. I never finished reading that. I was gonna pick up the Absolute, but I stopped myself.
Yes.
My bad. It's tired. I'm late. I feel that. Yes. I feel that. Mark Millar's Netflix series will be Super Crook.
Yep.
Yay.
He has quite a few.
Honestly, I liked what's it called? Kick-Ass.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot that's Mark Millar, but I've never read it, so now I need to read that. We'll have to do that. Not like back to back. We need a break from Mark Millar.
Getting a lot of love from us.
Yeah. Well, he has a lot of adaptations. What can we say? I mean, clearly when he decided, and this is the nice thing he's gotten to do was, with him being an Image and everything like that, he can own his properties with that Millar world. And so by owning them, he has so much control over what he can do with them. And I think that's why we're seeing so many adaptations of his works. And at the end of the day, it's only benefiting him. So I mean, us too, I guess. But yes, Immortal Ipsy, you're right. Sweet Tooth is getting a show next month. The Downey Jr., Robert Downey Jr. is one of the executive producers, him and his wife. So that's really exciting. So
they changed the tone of the story. So I'm interested to go back and read that with Amanda.
Yeah.
And see what she prefers. Robert Downey Jr. or Sweet Tooth? That's going to be the question.
That's the question.
That's the question.
Yeah.
Have you guys watched Ed Brubaker and Nicholas Ref's show Too Old to Die Young on M? No, what? Ed Brubaker? You know what Ed Brubaker was working on? Was he was one of the producers on Westworld. I forgot he was one of the producers on Westworld. Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Omar's getting a call from Hollywood. We want to make your YouTube channel into a movie.
Yeah.
Good.
I mean,
we're recasting everyone but me.
Yeah.
What's
said that Stan Lee might have more adaptations. See, that's hard because a lot of the storylines and stuff come from other writers, right? Like the Dark Phoenix saga is really Chris Claremont's.
That's right. That's right.
Storyline. But Stan Lee, I guess that he is Marvel, so he owns, that's why those writers don't get the due they're gotten when their storylines are used for the movies and stuff, which is a shame. But that's a whole other thing.
we're gonna make a Omar world, and yes, I'd like to see that.
Okay, it sounds good. Yeah, but we also guys have some news to also talk about before we wrap up tonight. Melly's gonna look at Dave. Lyndon, look, it's on TV.
But you just had to say that in front of my kid, didn't you, Michael Emmett? Okay, great. Now it's gonna be the Alicia and Lyndon show.
Say hi.
Something else?
Hi.
Besides hi?
Hi.
Anything else?
Hi.
Oh boy.
No, she's sister.
She's upstairs. She is.
This is just a comment.
each other instead of like taking over the show. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Is he in her room?
Oh, she's gonna call you, okay? She's gonna use her mommy's phone to call.
I'm gonna have to do stuff because mommy told me to do stuff.
Okay, mommy told you to do stuff. Okay.
What kind of things?
Something that you'll have to do when you get a little older. It's called chores.
Chores. She's cleaning a room that's chores enough for her right now.
Yeah, it's not fun. Not fun.
Yeah.
For adults. I get left chores to do, and they're not fun. Revival shows are trending. Why not Alf? Where's James with that? James, where were you?
Big revival shows. Did everyone see? Because I don't know if Omar had gotten a chance to see the teaser for the new Wonder Years reboot.
I'm surprised. I'll be honest with you. I'm kind of disappointed in you for not bringing up the Friends reunion.
Oh, well, I'll bring that up. But I mean, that was pretty fantastic. See, it's next week, next Friday. So
how are you not flipping out? I like for your birthday. Remember one year you came over? We're like, Amanda, you get to watch whatever you want to. We can't say a word, and you made us watch like 8 episodes of Friends. Yes.
But I do love Friends. It is.
I know you do, and you were like, "Oh,
even if so many things are so wrong in it, like that would not fly with science today." I don't care.
I don't care. Wait, Scotty, what do you know that we don't know?
Yeah,
that's Amanda.
That's Amanda.
Maybe Scotty's also tired, but thank you for the super chat.
Yes. As far as we know, Maddie is not pregnant, but I am not due until mid-October.
Yeah. But unless she told you something that she has not told us, Scotty.
Yeah. Unless we know something that you know.
Thank you seriously for the super chat.
Yeah, thank you seriously.
Very kind.
Yes. But yeah, so we also have a lot of news, and a lot of it is centered around Warner Brothers, guys. So
there we go. Oh crap, I'm there, Amanda. I mean Amanda a lot of the time too. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
The Wonder Years reboot must die. Wait, is that what you were talking about, right?
Yeah, just Don Cheadle does the narration, but Fred Savage is one of the producers of the show. He's one of the executive producers.
Okay. Wait a minute. First of all, 2 strikes. Strike 1, remake of one of the greatest shows ever made. Top 5 favorite TV shows ever. Strike 2, and this is a big one. It's not this guy that's doing the narration. Are you serious?
Oh, whatever. It's what it is. And Duo Hill plays the younger self's father. So I don't know. I'm all for it. I'm interested to see where it goes. It'll be definitely cool. So
what's it? I haven't seen the trailer. What's it about?
So it's just I think it's about a young boy growing up in like the 70s, I think. 60s or 70s. Yeah. So obviously you can see there's going to be a lot of different stuff they can talk about in that show, especially because he's black. So it's going to be a whole different kind of show than what our Wonder Years was, right?
I don't know. I haven't seen the trailer, so I don't know what the feel is. So that's one thing that I guess I don't know. I'm 44. I've never watched a whole episode of the Wonder Years. Man,
not everyone watches it. Sure.
I love that series. The music, the characters, they were great. Don Cheadle, come on, man. Yeah, dude, you know what? Come on. Anyway, I saw that we're getting a new Batman animated TV show. Like, this is huge.
Yes. Well, before we talk about that, because there's a lot of things that Warner Brothers is doing. So first of all, the biggest news came on Monday. And so for those who aren't aware, a few years ago, ATT bought Time Warner, which was a huge merger deal that had to go in front of the Supreme Court because of, antitrust laws and because of, monopoly issues, things like that. But they went through and signed the deal because apparently now all of our media needs to be owned by telecom companies. Mm-hmm. Well, it looks like buying Time Warner was not necessarily the best investment for AT&T. And so they are essentially, in a way, parting ways. So what they have done is they are going to be combining Warner Brothers Media and Discovery Plus, which is his own entity, into one company and kind of spinning it off AT&T, basically getting it off their books so that their investors probably feel better about it. And, this comes with a big shakeup because of the two CEOs they chose to keep on board. It was not the Warner Media CEO. It was the Discovery CEO. So this is going to be a huge thing. Now, the deal won't be finalized for about 2 years, but that's a big, big deal for those who are, thinking, Warner Media, their execs, they're the reasons all these issues are happening, like when it comes to what they decide on what they want to put out, things like that. But now it looks like we're getting a new CEO. And, this is Discovery Plus, keep in mind, this is not just Discovery Channel, right? You're talking about HGTV, Food Network, all the stuff that your mom watches or that you watch at the gym when you're working out and you just need something in the background. So, that's what Discovery Plus is.
That's what you think of Discovery?
Yes.
Richard Attenborough would smack you across the face if you heard you say that.
I guess. And so that's a pretty big deal. It's going to be interesting to see the way ahead with that. But in addition to that, other things have been released. So one of the big things that came out today, we all know that up until the end of this year, any Warner Brothers movie was going to have a dual release on HBO Max and in theaters. Well, guess what? They just reversed course with Dune. Dune will no longer be available on HBO Max. They will be doing, nope. You will have to see Dune in theaters October 1st when it comes out.
Good.
Yes. So Denis Villeneuve got his wish because we all knew he was not a fan of this. So this is one of the big changes. Denis whatever. Denis the director.
The guy that played Slade Wilson in Green Arrow?
No, Denis Villeneuve.
Oh, I'm so sorry. The director. I don't know what I was thinking. I need sleep. Go ahead.
No, so he was not a big fan of the whole same day release. So
this is how you hype. This is why Amanda's the hype. Right. All the stuff your mom watches. That's right. Now we're hyped.
Come on, we all know. We all want to watch
Josh
Duhamel. Yeah. Villeneuve. Yes. Denis Villeneuve. Yes. So he got his wish. Dune will now be exclusively in theaters, but they are still doing the 45-day turnaround. Where 45 days, then they could put on HBO Max, which is the new deal they signed with Regal, which was going to take effect 2022 with the rest of their movies that come out in 2022. So now that's the first one. That's the big thing that's changed. And then, of course, like you mentioned, we are also getting a Batman animated series, and Matt Reeves will have a part. J.J. Abrams are going to be.
What I was thinking about. I was like, Manu Bennett directed Dune? God. Okay. So yes, that to me is like the biggest news. The whole thing with
and My Friend Superman is another animated series they're doing.
Let's go back to Batman for a second because we need to focus on that. So who did you mention? So I don't
it's J.J. Abrams and Matt Reeves. Matt Reeves is doing the current one, and then Bruce Timm, the co-creator of the original animated series.
Paul Dini. Those are the two names that I wanted to see. I don't care about J.J. Abrams. I don't care about Matt Reeves. You had me at Bruce Timm.
Yes.
And Paul Dini. Where did I see? I saw Paul Dini's name somewhere, but man, I'm excited. I hate to be excited because I'm also like, oh wait, it's a DC thing. I don't want to get excited because I know where this usually goes.
No, but I'm excited for it because it's called Batman Caped Crusader. So it's not called Batman the Animated Series. So it's going to be different.
Buddy, how you doing, CNSS 84? He's asking, do you know when the Batman is supposed to come out? Is that next year?
No, I thought it was the end of this year. I thought it was like, when is that coming out? I thought his release date was like October, November. Nope. March 4th, 2022. No, it is that. So it is March 20. Yeah, they pushed it back to the 2022, so March, which is probably a good thing. But speaking of that, we also have a leak from that, which we can talk about.
What's that?
We also have a leak from that we can talk about.
Do you have a picture of that guy?
So
show us.
Yeah. So let's finish the Cape Crusader. Looking forward to it.
Sorry.
excited. It's going to be on HBO Max and Cartoon Network. But it's going to go back to like Batman's noir roots is what I think the description, like when they were talking about it.
The picture looks like the classic Batman from the third, like the 30s Batman, the early Batman with a big ear.
And from what I know of the Matt Reeves and what I've seen from the teaser trailer we've gotten, that has more noir roots too. So I think that's why they've brought him in to help produce this animated series as well, because I think they're going to, you know, not tie it into that, but they kind of want that same feel. But I think Conroy's coming back, right? Mark Hamill's coming back as well. So we're going to have
I haven't seen any voice actors being named, but that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I think most people that grew up, you know, in that era think of Kevin Conroy as the voice of Batman. So hopefully maybe there's some time before release. They're still trying to find enough Robert Pattinson fans to fill it. Phil's hating on. I think it was good, man.
Not a bad actor. I just watched Tenet.
Lobster
was a mind f, to be
frank.
I haven't
seen Tenet yet.
Yeah, but I thought Robert Pattinson was really good in it. But so was John David Washington.
Oh, what's it called? Just came out on HBO now. I really need to see. It's what's his name? The guy that does the guy that was on Sons of Anarchy and
Charlie Hunnam.
No, Taylor, he's freaking talented as hell as a director and a writer. He's the guy that did Sicario, Tyler, I can't remember his last name, starts with an H. His with Angelina Jolie.
Oh, they wish us dead or something like that?
Yeah, I need to watch that. I need to wake up and watch that.
For those who wish me dead, I'm sorry, that is on there,
yeah.
So, so a leak came out, I don't know if it was yesterday or today, I think it's from like a calendar or some kind of promotional product that they're going to end up using, but of the Paul Dano's Riddler from the Batman. And wow, this is a very different version of the Riddler. I have the picture if anyone wants to see it. Can I show this?
Yeah, sure. Did you take it?
No.
This is an interesting take on the Riddler.
Yes.
The Repo Man.
Yes, he does. And I know that they're kind of the way they're
describing. Thank you, Matthew.
Sure.
Taylor freaking Sheridan. Is that his name?
Yes.
No, it's not. Is it? His
last name? Sheridan, but I don't think freaking was in there.
What's his middle name? Anyway,
yeah, but I know that they're using a lot of the Zodiac Killer, as kind of like an inspiration for the Riddler story in this. Yeah, exactly. Immortal. They're using the Zodiac Killer. And man, this is gonna be this is definitely not Jim Carrey's Riddler. I'll give you that.
Okay, yeah, no, it's not Jim Carrey's Riddler.
Is that what did thank you, Scotty G. Thank you for that super chat.
You're a good guy, Scotty. Thank you.
Yes, you are. Thank you so much.
Apparently, Riddler is inspired by the Zodiac Killer. If you saw the other leak pics, so interesting.
Exactly. Low Heat. I said, is that an AIM soldier promoted to Riddler? That's pretty good. Pretty good, Low Heat. But that's Doomsday before he got out of imprisonment. Oh boy.
Doomsday. So, what else is there, Amanda?
Yeah.
Because we don't know much about this whole Discovery WB deal. We don't know what that means for the comics, collected edition.
Yeah, no, because that also, a lot of people now, because they think we're getting a new CEO and stuff. First thing that was on everyone's mind was restore the Snyderverse, but we have to keep in mind this is a 2-year down the road deal. Like it won't be finalized for like 2 years. The former CEO of, well, now former, I guess, CEO of Warner Brothers is getting his lawyers involved on what his exit's going to look like. So don't expect it to be like we're going to make big, massive decisions. Like we're going to bring all this Snyderverse back and things like that.
Restore the Snyderverse.
Yeah.
Yes, it's coming true. Oh man, I can't wait.
Yeah.
Will the collected editions department get better? I think it's way too early to tell right now.
Yeah.
We can only hope. That would be phenomenal. Yeah. But
I don't think AT&T or any of them knew what to do with that whole aspect of the business, to be quite frank. It's a telecom company. They just wanted to promote their 5G, which, interesting enough, one of the articles I read that just came out today is that now that they are unloading Warner Media, they're going to shift back to what they should have been focusing on, which was their 5G. So wonderful. And the crazy thing is, they purchased Time Warner for $85 billion. They're selling Warner Media's assets to Discovery for $43 billion. Look at how that's $40 billion they're losing on this deal that they made back in 2018. That's crazy. It must have been it just did not work out for AT&T. I think they wanted to do something where they were going to try to, use Warner Media to help sell their phones and their other products. But, when I think about other companies like Verizon stuff, Verizon had deals with Disney Plus, but Verizon didn't own Disney, right? They didn't go and buy a whole media conglomerate in order to do that stuff. They just partnered with those companies. So it's just, I don't know. It's crazy for AT&T, but someone earlier in the chat said everyone's selling their AT&T stock, and it might be a good time. And I have AT&T internet, darn it!
Yeah, not no more. You're gonna have some DC Comics internet.
Yeah, right. Whatever that means.
Not final on this, but RE Netflix choice. I think I do the Invisibles, but different, completely creative team and budgetary control than Morrison's NSA. It would be hard to top a lot of the Doom Patrol ideas that they've used from Morrison's run.
Yeah.
What? Somebody bought Yahoo? No.
Someone's done with that thing.
Somebody buy Ask Jeeves while we're still at it.
Is Ask Jeeves still around?
Maybe Bitcoin can buy Ask Jeeves. Which idiot executive makes a business decision like that when you're $100 billion in debt? I mean,
what's 100?
Yeah.
For them, what is it? Another big media thing that's coming down the pike is that Amazon is currently in negotiations to acquire MGM Studios for about $9 billion.
No way.
Yep. So it looks like they're going to be dealing directly with the MGM board chairman, Kevin Ulrich. And I mean, MGM's pretty much been for sale and they're looking for a buyer. So it looks like they're looking for something. This would be a great way for Amazon to, definitely solidify themselves. Obviously they are making some great content, Emmy nominated Golden Globe content already, but, for movies, things like that, this would be a great way for them to really solidify their base in entertainment, I think, if they can do this. So, some people are saying $9 billion. Some people are saying $5 billion. I mean, what's the difference to someone like me? I don't care either way. That's money I would never see in my lifetime. So there you go.
Not with that attitude.
You're right. Exactly.
Always marry rich up, I'm
already married. We just got to make our own money.
Just whatever. Yes.
Yeah.
The next thing, the next 6G.
Yeah. But I mean, MGM boasts over 4,000 film titles alone. And so for Amazon, this could be a big deal for them. They could, when you're trying to compete with the likes of, Netflix buying up properties, all their original content that they're just throwing out there. Now, granted, more of it than not has been, pumping out those reality TV shows like The Circle, but Disney and their content, HBO Max and their content, I think at some point we're all worried about, how many streaming services there are. At some point, with the way these buyouts are happening, we may only end up with 3 to 4 streaming services anyways. I really think that's what's gonna happen.
Yes, I think so too.
Yes.
Whatever.
Yeah, exactly. It's just
I've given up on that fight.
Yeah, and there's no reason we can fight on that.
What's next? Disney or Amazon's gonna try to buy near mint condition.
If only.
Oh my gosh! If Disney buys near mint condition, that would make Lyndon a Disney princess.
What do you think about that?
What do you think about that, Lyndon?
She's tired.
I feel you, kid.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, but the last piece of news I had, clearly not really related to any of this, but I forgot this was even coming out. But Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins trailer comes out in July 23rd, I believe. So Henry Golding, which, you know, those who are familiar with Crazy Rich Asians or that Last Christmas movie with Emilia Clarke would know this charming British man, very attractive British man. But yes, they are doing a Snake Eyes movie, which I didn't even know Snake Eyes talked that much to give him his own movie. But
no, they don't even understand Snake Eyes. The minute I saw that his helmet came off, I was like, I'm out. I won't. I'm not saying the Channing Tatum movie was better, but at least they had Ray Park as Snake Eyes. So,
yes, yeah. Whatever. So it's definitely going to be. Yeah, I keep thinking that.
But he talks and he got his mask off. Come on, man.
I mean, Henry Golding's a great actor, but with it coming out July 23rd, and then with Shang-Chi coming out in September, like September 3rd.
You call him Shang-Chi?
Yes. Should I call him Shang-Chi?
You call him whatever you want to, Amanda.
Okay. I feel like.
Oh, Matt's saying he doesn't talk. Yeah, but they revealed his face, right?
They do. Yeah, his face is in it because he's an attractive
apparently, if you hire somebody really attractive, poor Ray Park had to be under a mask.
Yeah, but he.
Oh, you're not familiar with Snake Eyes?
There's going to be some really interesting comparisons between the two films because I got that vibe between Shang-Chi and this movie because of how close they're coming out.
Apparently, Larry Hama helped. You had me at Larry Hama. And it's the origin leading up to his accident.
Yes, so maybe
we need an origin. I just remember the Wolverine origin movie.
Yes, it looks like comic writer Larry Hama is helping out with or helped out with the movie.
Exactly. Thank you. Have the G.I. Joe people ever seen X-Men Origins Wolverine? Okay.
Yeah. Gosh. Yes. It'll be interesting to see what happens with that. But that was released. For anyone who's interested, apparently they're doing they did a film adaptation of Dear Evan Hansen, which was a fantastic musical. They have Ben Platt, who originally starred in the musical, was also part of the Pitch Perfect universe, but they have him doing the Dear Evan Hansen. Yeah, is that am I right? Yeah, I've listened to other like YouTube channels and stuff, and they all say like Shang-Chi and stuff, and I was like, maybe I should be pronouncing it the right way.
You pronounce however you want to. I'm gonna keep it with
crazy American.
I'm gonna keep it real. It real. That's when keeping it real goes wrong, guys.
I mean, I've been saying Josh Duhamel's name wrong for like most of my life at this point.
He's a fictional character. I know the word is not, but that's what the creators called him. They called him Shang-Chi.
They did.
So I don't. Whatever. Okay. Yes, you call him Shang, and I'm sure most people will after the movie. We have been saying Shang-Chi wrong. It's so weird. I can't do it.
You can't do it.
Is the Injustice Project I heard about live action
animated? It's animated. Yeah, that's an animated one. Yeah, they're not doing live action Injustice.
G.I. Joe's, Larry Hama's issues 26 and 27 were perfect. Yeah, and that's all you need. And I bet none of that is in there. I don't know. I haven't seen it, but apparently, who is it? Roy Gold?
Henry Golding.
Henry Golding is super hot and handsome in Crazy Rich Asians, and this is going to be the definitive.
Well, this is an attractive dude in general. Like Henry, I'm gonna give you, okay?
No, I'll believe you. You got to get a certain audience in there. It's not just going to be a bunch of dudes. Their wives have to go. So Henry Golding needs to attract the female audience, just like Jason Momoa did for Aquaman.
Jason Momoa is not my kind of dude, but it's fine.
But look at do you not remember when we went to see it, all the women hollering in the back?
Yes, that's true. They do love him. There are women who just want big, beefy dudes. But give me my Tom Holland any day.
I was going to say, you and the 15-year-old girls that were hollering it for Tom Holland, you get your own.
Look at him. Man, he's attractive. Yeah, that is Henry Golding. Yeah.
All right. Henry Golding is our Snake Eyes, guys.
That's
whether
Snake
you
Eyes.
like it or not. Who's Storm Shadow? Channing Tatum?
No, I haven't. I don't know. I have to look up the whole thing.
All right. Amanda and Omar, or just Amanda, could you discuss the troubling news about Bob Chapek's What is this? I don't.
Yeah, I don't. That's what I was like. I don't know the troubling news. So, Omar, take something else, and I can look it up quickly, so I can have an opinion about it.
Storm Shadow is there, right? I assume Storm Shadow is there, and he's part of the origin. Maybe they'll go with the whole Snake Eyes origin that we were talking about, but I don't want to spoil that for people that haven't read it. But everybody needs to read Larry Hamill's G.I. Joe. It's awesome. I saw Samara Weaving is Scarlet, and that girl from that Spanish show is Baroness. Samara Weaving, I love that woman.
I love her too.
Scarlet, and that girl from that Spanish show is Baroness. What Spanish show? Selena Gomez? Don't make me. Why are you making me look up? I don't want to look up this cast, man. Amanda's proof that not all women like their men taller than them, but her husband is taller.
I do. My husband's way taller than me. No, I do like that because I'm like 5'3", so I do want.
You ain't got much of a choice.
Yeah, I mean Tom Holland's like 5'6", but it's
still taller.
Still taller than me. Yeah, still taller than me. But yeah.
Tokyo from La Casa de Papel is Baroness. Okay, gosh dang it, you people making me look at this up. Look up this cast. Because you did have me at what's her name? Samara Weaving.
Samara Weaving. You're gonna look it up. Okay, so I've been looking at this Disney thing. So apparently
what's going on?
So obviously Rob Iger, which love the guy. I have his book up here about leadership. Because he really had, Bob Iger was CEO of Disney during everything when they got Star Wars, Marvel, everything like that. Like he's been very integral in all of that, and was stepping down. And Bob Chapek is becoming right during the pandemic they started to transition during the pandemic, right? And so I'm pretty sure at this point it's pretty much finished out, but it looks like their relationship has become really strained because it looks like Chapek has been, centralizing the content distribution and ad sales. And he's even taken more of a creative, been attending more creative meetings as Iger has been stepping back from all of that. And it's just, they're saying that the senior leaders have tried to insinuate the creative teams from all the upheavals. So I'm trying to read this into this. So last October, they decided to restructure their operations to elevate executives who distribute Disney movies and shows over the ones who actually oversee their production. So that is a big deal. It's a little bit different. And I don't know why you would want to elevate those who distribute over the ones who oversee production, because I guess it's to make sure they get everything distributed. So that's interesting that they're choosing those folks. Let's see. I'm trying to do my business 101 here in 5 minutes. So bear with me as I try to read through and understand it from a business.
And I went down the rabbit hole of going to IMDb and looking up this.
Yeah, everyone has to watch us do this. But
and I found out that Kirstie Alley lost weight again, and I just went down the rabbit hole of looking up actors and actresses that have lost dramatic weight. And I think it's outdated because some of these people have gained it back.
Yeah, so the idea was that by restructuring it makes them in a better position for a future determined by success in streaming. However, a lot of people have become deeply confused on how to navigate this new, order of business. And some of the people in Hollywood said the new structure is more convoluted than necessary. It adds an extra managerial level into getting process of projects being made. So that is something that is definitely becoming an issue there. So we're going to see if that's going to become an issue later on as they start to work on more projects. People have lost oversight of some of their FX chiefs and stuff, and they have lost their responsibilities, have been taken away from them. And it just looks like his restructuring is not. I mean, it's hard for me to do this in 5 minutes, guys, because I have to read it a little bit more deeply. But yeah, it looks like some things are happening at Disney that a lot of people inside Disney are not too happy about.
I was staring at Kirstie Alley pics. I love that woman. I thought she was super hot. Google Samara Weaving. It might help you feel better. I'm good, man. I was just waiting for Amanda to give me the whole spiel. So
Yeah,
that's what was going on. Read my kid. Where is Leo? Leo's not here tonight.
Yeah, Immortal Ipsy, you're right. The only thing I had, like, where does that leave, like, Feige? Because is this going to affect how Marvel movies get made based on distribution, based on the way that Chapek wants to handle this? I do wonder if that's going to affect that, and also maybe the Star Wars franchise as well. Because what are we going to see as far as distribution on that side? So it's going to be really interesting to see how this all plays out. Iger leaves officially, like, as executive chairman and everything in the end of this year. I think Alan Horn, who's also their chief creative officer, he is also leaving. So he's been like the creative guiding force for the past 9 years, since 2012. And that's right when Avengers came out, the first one. So he's been there at the helm for, gosh, a long time. And he was at Warner Brothers before that. So that's why Warner Brothers has been struggling so much. They lost someone so successful as Alan Horn, and then they did not gain someone like him back, I think. So there you go. But yes, that's something that I will do some more research on. And we can talk about it more when I have done a little bit more research instead of the last 2 minutes that I've sat there reading that article.
Vanessa Kirby. All right. Yeah.
Oh, goodness,
All
right.
I see you.
Captain
Okay.
said, have you seen the Nevers episode 6? Yeah, they sure did. Went Days Future Past. I know Omar hasn't seen this show yet, because this is season 1, part 1 finale. So obviously we have part 2.
HBO.
Yeah. It was not as strong as a part 1 finale as I was hoping. It was really interesting to see exactly what happened to Amalia True. Wow. That was really, really interesting to me. And I don't want to give it away for anyone who hasn't seen it.
I don't even know who Molly True is, so
exactly. But it was kind of messy. Like that whole thing was a little bit messy, and I think I would have to rewatch it, which I probably will, just to get my bearings on exactly what went down. Because it went from future, which I was not expecting. It was like a whole different show, to the past real fast. And
I don't even know what this is. One of my favorite takes on Days of Future Past was in Heroes season 1.
Yeah,
I loved it. I loved it so much that they even had Stan Lee cameo in it.
It did. It was actually a pretty good movie. Yeah, Next Magic. I'm sure he probably does. I need a little bit more time to read up on it to give you a better answer than what I have. But it's never good when a CEO decides that he wants to start meddling in the creative side of things. It can never be good. Let's just say that. DC should know that by now, given Warner Brothers and their execs and what we've seen with Warner Brothers. So if you have a person who wants to meddle, it can never, and their executives, it can never be a good thing. It's never a good sign. So we'll just have to see.
Mm-hmm.
Phil, as far as if you're thinking about watching it, I highly rate it. I would give it probably about like an 8 out of 10. Like I said, that last episode was a little messy for me, but I know it's just a part 1 finale of season 1. It's not even the end of season 1. So we still have some more to go. I guess it's kind of like a little small hiatus and they'll bring back the rest of it. But the premise is really interesting. I enjoy the characters, some strong acting in that show, really strong acting, some great special effects, and yeah, unique storyline. I enjoy it. So, and if you like steampunk Victorian era stuff, yeah, there we go. With like superpowers, then you should like the show.
Heroes season 1 was at its peak, all downhill from there. I was just thinking about that show yesterday.
Yeah,
and I was thinking when Brian Fuller left the show to go do Pushing Daisies is what killed the show. And that was season 1. Season 2 was so bad, and then I stopped at season 3. All right, that little one looks really tired. She looks like I feel. So, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. We will be back next Wednesday.
Yes.
We're taking this Friday off, but we will be back next Wednesday with Was It Better Than the Comic with The Losers. So very excited for that. See what everybody else thinks. It's been a long time since I've read them, but I got rid of those trade paperbacks, and it had to be a reason. So and I like Andy Giggle, and I like Jock.
Spoilers.
Spoilers. My bad. Okay.
But if anyone wants to do this along with us, if you have the comics or know how to get a hold of the comics, the movie is actually on HBO Max, so you can watch it on HBO if you're here in the US and you have access to HBO. So there you go. So definitely check it out. Come back next Wednesday and watch it with us. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and remember to follow us on all of our social media channels at nearmintcon. Remember to check us out on our social or on our Patreon if you want to support us for $1 a month or more. Omar might actually do your household chores for you.
I can't even do mine, but
he'll do yours. Yeah, he gets his kids to do his. And then if you want to get some awesome near mint condition merchandise, head over to our spread shop where you get some of that. And then last but not least, guys, if it's classy and cool, it must be in your mint. Good journey, and we will see you next Wednesday.
See you next Wednesday, everybody. Bye-bye.